Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and I want everybody around here, everybody with an invisible condition, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never ever alone. Here at Invisible Condition, we get it. Stuff can stuff can get crazy. Life can be really tough sometimes. Living with an invisible medical condition, no matter what it is, it can have your rough days, right? Here's the thing to remember, though: there's always hope. Always, always, always hope. If you've lost that hope, or you don't know what I'm talking about, man, would I love to talk to you about that. I'm going to put an email address on the screen here in a minute to talk about another thing. But that email is for you. If you want to talk, if you want to ask me what I'm talking about with hope and how to have that for you, I'm all ears. I would love to have a conversation. So please reach out. Now, here is the email that I was talking about. There we go. Invisible condition at e360tv.com. And why I put that up there is because I want to talk to you about Hydro with Hope. That is our nonprofit arm of the show. And it is an organization, a nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit that we created a couple of years ago to help people with the invisible condition that I was born with many, many years ago. In 1977, I was born with a condition called hydrocephalus, which typically people with that condition are having brain surgery on a pretty regular basis. And so it can be a little dicey sometimes, And so we have resources for you if you're in that boat, if you've just found out that your child has to have brain surgery again, or if you just got diagnosed, or if you're not sure what to do. Would I love to talk to you? Love to talk to you. Shoot me an email. Let me know. I'll send you my calendar link and we can talk. So, and same thing with anybody that has watched this show for a while and knows somebody that might want to advertise or sponsor the show. Man, would I love to talk to you too, because we've got a growing audience, and I want to share your product or service with that growing audience. I think it would be beneficial for all of us. So let me know. Shoot me an email and let's talk. All right. Now, let me bring Michelle on. Michelle LeBaron is back with us today. Hey, Michelle. Hello. Good morning. Thank you for being here again.
Happy to be here. Always have fun.
Always awesome. Always awesome with Michelle. We are going to now. I have to say something before we get started with this. Michelle is one of the most intuitive, insightful people I've ever met in my entire life. We've only known each other a couple of years, but it feels like longer. But we only met like 2 years ago. But you have one of the most insightful. When we were talking this morning, we're like, so what are we going to talk about on the show? And you're like, I think we should talk about how we handle anxiety. And it's funny because, man, this morning, I was telling you, this morning was like a very anxious morning for me. I was like, kind of that, for those of you out there that are business owners, you know what I'm talking about. It's that crazy back and forth in your brain, like, oh, it's going to be an amazing day. Oh my God, how are we going to pay the bills? Oh, it's going to be an amazing day. And it like that pinball in your head just flopping around all back and forth. And your anxiety's through the roof, and you got to slow down. And it's hard to do that sometimes. And so we're going to talk about that today, apparently. And so then you said that, and I was like, oh, well, crap. That's perfect.
Yay. I think this topic is just for you. I heard like, what are we talking about? Okay, that's it. Let's go.
There you go. So anyway, between God speaking to you and you just having that mind, I was like, okay, this is perfect. So
thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so take it away.
Go. And I think especially at this time of year, I mean, that is so common, right? And everybody's sped up, and there's all the holiday plans.
I mean, we are less than 2 weeks from Christmas right now. We are it is December 16th, man. We're what is that? 9 days from Christmas. So yeah, people are a little sped up. People are a little, So.
Well, hopefully this will help. Yeah. So for those who don't know me, a quick introduction. I am a functional medicine practitioner. Have a master's in nutrition, and then went on to study functional medicine. And I have tons of certificates in different healing modalities and techniques, and none of them got me fully healthy. And so it caused me to just continue searching for answers. At my worst, I was bedridden for years. Took a lot of searching and digging and many doctors and advocating for myself to have all the right tests that the regular doctors didn't want to run, to find out I had an autoimmune disease and genetic condition and very serious allergies and sensitivities and things. And so I was managing that for a long time, just with researching different diets and different healing modalities and techniques and protocols and things. And I wasn't bedridden anymore, but I had a very restricted life. I was taking tons of supplements. I was taking, different teas. I was very restricted in what I could eat. Like I couldn't have gluten and dairy and corn and nightshades and all of the things. And I couldn't have anything heated up in plastic, and I couldn't have anything that was scented, and I had to have like an air purifier, because if I breathed car exhaust, I'd get a headache and I'd want to sleep for hours. Like, I was at a sensitive system. And so even though I looked normal again on the outside and I could maintain a life and work full time and all of that, it just wasn't a way to live. And I quickly realized this is me still sick. Healthy people don't have to do all of this stuff. What am I missing? So I found nervous system regulation and a bunch of other very deep work. And within a few months, I was able to reintroduce all my foods, including the foods I had anaphylactic reactions to. I got off all my supplements and meds. I reran my tests. Everything was normal. No sign of my autoimmune disease or genetic condition or any of the other things. And I was fully healthy and have been since then to this day. So I love teaching people about how do we actually address the real root cause, so that our bodies can be fully healthy, so we don't have any ongoing symptoms and we don't have to take anything to manage them. And that's really kind of unheard of in today's world. I think we're working with the innovative people that are willing to try the new stuff right now until it's more mainstream. But so that's what I do. And I enjoy it very deeply, and it's my passion and purpose. So as part of nervous system regulation, we have to learn to manage our emotions. And how do we approach those things from a regulated, healthy place? Because most of us are not taught these skills in school and growing up, and our parents don't know, and our grandparents certainly didn't know. And so we need to develop skill sets in emotional awareness and emotional intelligence and regulation and how to really be there for ourselves to help us through these things. So that's, I think, what inspired today's topic of anxiety, which you could insert any emotion in there, but we're going to focus on anxiety.
Anxiety stems into a lot of stuff. So it could be, I mean, the anxiety can show up as anger. It could be show up as people pleasing. It could show up as being rushed during the week, during the day, during the holidays, whatever, fill in the blank. Yes. And anxiety it shows up in some, and part of it is your lifestyle. Part of it is how you were brought up, so everybody's different, but at the root of it, right, there's that wheel of emotions and stuff. And there's like 1,000 of them on the outside, but really at the root, there's only 2 or 3.
Yes.
And one of them's anxiety. So
totally. Yeah. We keep talking about that wheel. We should find an image and show people later.
You totally should.
I know. That'd be so good. Okay, I'll do it. But yeah, if you Google like emotion wheel, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. And it's very insightful because most people can't even name their emotions. They don't even know what they're feeling. That's how far suppressed and detached we are from what's going on inside of us. And, so we have these emotions. We've never learned how to properly feel them and cope with them. So we often have strategies to avoid or fix or change or, bury them or whatever. And it can come out in a lot of different ways. One of the ones you didn't mention is like being very rigid or having to control everything or being, having all these structures down to the nth degree in order to then have security inside of what you're doing. And so we're not talking about that either. Like, sure, you can avoid anxiety by staying inside your comfort zone in all areas. Of course. That's not the life either. So it's really about changing our capacity to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. I mean, if that's That's the number one skill I wish everyone could learn, because we'd have a very different world if we all could just sit with, right, the uncomfortable instead of go to all of these survival strategies that are very usually dysfunctional and very usually low emotional intelligence. They're very reactive.
Yes.
And so that is the first thing, is actually learning to feel it. And so things really started changing for me. I worked with a woman for a couple years. It drove me nuts, but it was so good for me. She didn't really offer strategies to fix anything that I was talking about. Mostly what she told me through that time was, and can you be with that? Like, what's wrong with that experience of being human? And it really showed me how much I would judge and label what I was experiencing as bad and wrong and needed fixing and needed changing. And I can't be with this. And I'm going into a fight or flight thing just because I'm feeling this way and I don't want to feel this way. And so it really taught me how to just be with what I'm experiencing. And a lot of somatic experiencing work, which is very good for the nervous system, is often naming your experience. And that can include, I'm sitting down right now, but it also can include what's arising for me, like, is anxiety. And that feels like tension in my chest. And verbally, and there's studies from Harvard that say this too, like verbally grounding, meaning verbally stating what the experience is actually an incredible way. Tons of studies like MRIs and things showing differences in our brain and how our nervous system responds. Simply just acknowledging and becoming aware of what we're experiencing is a huge grounding awareness skill set. It's not really a tool, it's a skill. And so what I would do in discomfort is, yes, I would start naming those things, but I would also just sit with an emotion. So let's say anxiety, and I would get curious about it. If I can get curious, then I'm not reacting, I'm curious. So curiosity is our best friend when it comes to learning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And yay, I love the wheel too. Yeah, so this is what we were talking about, how happiness can look in many different ways, right? It can look playful, it can feel freeing, it can feel joyful. Curious is on there. I was just talking about that, right? And sadness can look so many different ways. So using this in your lives, especially as you're learning to feel, might be really great. What am I feeling? And if I'm using some of the inside words, like I'm feeling bad, okay, but can I take that further? Well, is that bored, busy, stressed, tired, right? Is that unfocused, sleepy, out of control, overwhelmed? Just bringing awareness to what's happening inside of us is a very grounding, and it gets us out of our head. So we are either going to live life from our head, from our ego, from being unconscious, like that's our autopilot system, or we're going to live life from our heart, our soul, our spirit, like from our being aware, and being present in this moment. And, you know, there's entire authors that talk about how if we just can learn how to be present, we don't experience suffering anymore. So these are powerful concepts, but we have to learn how to do it. That's the biggest thing. It's not learning it conceptually, but learning the how. So if people are listening, don't just listen to what I'm saying, like actually be like, how can I do what she's talking about right now or after this video? How can I set aside 5-10 minutes and actually sit with an emotion and feel what it feels like in my body? So I sit with it, I get curious, and I observe it like, well, what does anxiety feel like in my body right now? Where do I feel it? Do I picture a color associated with it? Like, can I find where I think the center of it would be? Is it more up here? Is it in my throat? Is it in my gut? Like, where is it? My shoulders? Like, where is it? Right? Is it in my head? Well, what does that feel like? Is there a texture to it? What happens if I sit and watch it? Like, instead of resisting it, and there's a phrase, right? Whatever you resist persists. And with our emotions, we see this biologically. Our emotions only take about 60 to 90 seconds to process in our body, to metabolize. And people don't usually know that because that's not their experience. It's like, I stay stressed all day. I stay anxious all day. I stay anxious for hours, right? Well, actually what happens is an emotion comes up, and then our mind kicks into gear. and we start creating all these stories about our emotion. So our mind tries to project
Yep.
into the future to protect ourselves. That we project to protect. We project onto the future as a protective mechanism, as a survival mechanism. So I'm projecting into the future. What's the worst thing that could happen? What am I afraid will happen? What could go wrong? How would I navigate that? What are the pitfalls? Like, how do I stay in my comfort zone? How do I avoid blah, blah, blah? So when our mind actually latches onto an emotion, then we're in this mental loop, and then we're having emotions about our mental loop. So people still think, well, I'm still anxious. I'm like, no, you're now having new anxiety. You're pumping new anxiety molecules through your body based on these thoughts. It's like when you're watching a scary movie, and there's a scary part in the first 5 minutes that like kind of creeps you out, right? And then there's a scary part 30 minutes in. No, you don't still have anxiety. You're having new anxiety because there's a new scary part to the movie. Well, guess what? Our brain doesn't distinguish between reality and our thoughts.
Right.
And movies, by the way. So
Well,
it's like, be
anywhere.
careful what you see. Yeah, because, and be careful with little mind what you think. Because that's information that our biology is taking as real. And so when we engage in these mental loops and we're producing new emotional responses, yes, it might be called the same thing, anxiety, but you could have pumped your body through 100 different molecules of anxiety in the time you are perseverating, meaning in your mental loop.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important, if you can pattern interrupt yourself, to get curious, to name your feelings, and to start observing what's going on in your body and saying, well, what is the physical sensation? You're going to get out of your head and you're going to get into an embodied state.
Right.
And that's going to be where your body actually has a chance and your nervous system has a chance to unwind, to calibrate, to recognize I'm still safe. I'm feeling anxious and I'm still safe. And it's where we really can parent ourselves by holding that safe space. It's okay to feel anxious. If you also want to add something soothing, like soothing motion, this actually changes your brain waves. Just doing this changes your brain waves to a more present and calm state that starts regulating your nervous system. So it can be very simple, but we have to be willing to feel it to release it.
And I think that's where most people are not, they've not been taught that. They know that anxiety is a thing. They know that it's a part of life. They know that it's not good. And they know that they need to either suck it up and push through it, or like they know what, everybody knows what it is and everybody deals with it, but nobody, or not as big of a portion of the population has the solution to actually deal with it properly. And so that's what you're talking about. And that's what people can learn. I mean, this is all stuff that you have to learn. This is new education. So so where, when you scan the QR code that I'm going to take off the screen in about 10 seconds, scan that and it will go to Michal's calendar, and you can schedule time. And it's not like when you go to the doctor's office and you go 10 minutes and they kick you out. It's like an hour. She's with you for like a little while and walks through it with you and says, what are we really talking about? So, and it's pretty awesome. So if you just check it out, just go to the website and read what's there. And like, this is the point of all these shows, because this is so different that we want more people to know about this.
Yes. So, and most people think they're feeling their feelings, but they're not. And that's what we'll talk about. What are those indicators when we come back from the break? Right.
Exactly. So yeah, we need to go to a break, because for this is the first time I think we've both been drinking coffee during the show. So yeah, you got your chronic illness solution mug. I've got my invisible condition mug. They're both filled with coffee. And that's funny because we're going to talk about coffee right now. So this is perfect. So go, maybe your dog needs some coffee. He was talking to you outside the door there.
I know.
All right. I'll see you in just a minute, Michal. All right. let's talk for a second, man. Let's talk about coffee because it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. So, and of course, for those of you that have heard this, it's no surprise. You've heard me talk about coffee a lot over the years. I'm a total coffee nerd. I'm such a coffee nerd, and I have been for years. Thank you, Brett. That's my brother-in-law in Portland, who is a coffee guy that he actually runs a coffee shop that's attached to a church up there in Portland, and it's amazing. And so he kind of got me down this road. And anyway, the point is, if a bag of coffee doesn't have a roast date on it that's within the last 2-3 weeks, I don't want to have anything to do with it because it's probably not great coffee to drink at that point. And so that's why I'm thankful for Mike at Roast to Order Coffee, because they get it. Roast to Order Coffee gets it. They roast the beans fresh, they ship them to your door, and they're always coming up with new, amazing varieties, flavors, types of coffee, delivery systems for coffee. So, for instance, if you, whether you love Ethiopian light roast or espresso or decaffeinated coffee or flavored coffee or the little pods, the little K-cup pod things, Mike listens, man. Over the years, people have been like, hey, what if you had like a flavored coffee? And he said, okay, well, let's push it out and see if people buy it. People bought it. It's still there. When you go to his website, you'll see lots of varieties for even the most discerning coffee drinkers. So Christmas is coming. We're less than 2 weeks from Christmas, right? Here we go. Speaking of anxiety, I'm going to reduce some of your anxiety right now. Here's a gift idea. E-gift cards. Mike has e-gift cards. Mike also has coffee subscriptions. I hope my family's listening. Coffee subscriptions. So we got it. He's got you covered. Scan the QR code and you will get 20% off your first order. So there you go. All right, everybody. We will see you in just a minute.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Minna.
We're the hosts of Chronically Healthy Life.
Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time on Vitality TV to see how we flip the idea of chronic on its head and create chronic health in our bodies, minds, finances, and relationships right here on E360 TV.
All right. Whoa. What happened there?
Whoa, it looks so
Hello there. I'm not sure. There we go. I don't know what happened there, but apparently it thought I still had the graphic up there. So
That's funny. And
Okay.
Daisy's happy. She's now here laying down like a happy camper.
Yay. All right.
So
Yes.
she's happy to join us. She didn't want to be lonely in the house.
Nobody likes to be lonely, so it's like, hey, Mom. Hey. Let me
Speaking of
in.
anxiety, come on, Mom.
Even with dogs have anxiety too, guys. Come on.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay, so we're talking about feeling our feelings. And when I'm teaching this, the number one thing I usually hear is like, I am feeling it. Obviously, right? I'm feeling anxious. So I like to, I've worked on how do I articulate the difference between what I mean. And this really is an experience you have to discover for yourself. So the best that I can do is point to it and describe it as best I can. You have to take it inward and you have to like find it within yourself. It's very easy to do when we're working one-on-one. So feel free to scan the QR code if you need help or want to know if you're doing it right or whatever. I can help you if I'm with you. But there is a difference between being emotional and feeling my feelings. So I think of feeling my feelings as, am I being present or am I being anxious? Am I being present with the anxiety for that, what that experience is, and allowing it, observing it, feeling it, staying curious about it? Or am I being it? Like, am I caught up in it? I'm lost in it. I'm fighting it. So it's like oftentimes, you know, there are clues. When I'm being emotional, or since we're using anxiety as our example, you know, anxious people who are being anxious tend to talk very quickly. They tend to go up in their heads. They tend to talk a lot, sentences and sentences and sentences about what they feel they're anxious about, and then what they're worried about, and then why that is that way. And then it's like this whole heady thing. Whereas people that are being present with anxiety say much fewer words. They say it much slower, and they describe their actual experience. So that might sound like, I'm feeling, and I'm not right now, I'm just giving an example, but I'm feeling anxious. I feel anxiety in my chest, throat, and stomach. And it feels like a tightness in my throat and almost like butterflies in my stomach. It's how I usually recall anxiety. If I were to find the center of it, it would be like in the middle of my body and probably my chest, like my heart area, like in here. And if I just sit and watch the sensations in those parts of my body, I just notice that it starts to feel like I have more space. When I sit and I just watch and I feel it, it feels like there's spaciousness. So like the tension and the lack of space feels like it's relaxing and opening. Okay, that's very different than, yeah, I've been feeling really anxious lately, and then my thoughts are this, and then my thoughts are that, and then I'm wondering like how I'm going to make things happen, and then, you know, and then I try to just do my best, and I'm going to do my best today, and I'm going to try to keep a positive attitude, and I'm going to like, this is what people sound like, but they're not feeling it. Other people might cry, I'm just feeling so anxious, and I'm like, but you're not feeling it. So it's interesting, when we're feeling our feelings, we might have like a tear or something come up. We might have that well of emotion, but I'm not lost in my emotion either. So there are real indicators we can begin to notice. What, am I slowed down in my feeling, in my talking, or am I just racing through with like a bunch of descriptive words?
Is it almost like, maybe this is this is the illustration that pops into my head when after you said that, is like in like in the movie Ghost, right? When Sam's like outside his body, right? Patrick Swayze's character is like, he's a ghost, you know, and he sorry for those that haven't seen it, he dies. Sorry. It's anyway. But
you can send your hate mail to
that's right. You saw the email before. Send it to invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. We could talk about it. So anyway, if you haven't seen that movie by now, I can't help.
Right, I know that's
anyway, but in that movie, he is, you know, like there's his body, but then it's like he comes out of his body and he's watching what's happening in the situation. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like, it's like you're either, if you're feeling it, you're in that body, feeling that pain, feeling that anxiety, feeling the thing, and like, you know. But if you're here and you're able to, like, kind of the 30,000-foot view, you're able to observe it and say, oh, so that's what it looks like, you know. And you can, right? That kind of thing. Is it okay? All
I
right.
like that. Yeah, because I usually say an instruction that works really well for people is I'm like, can you observe it though? Can you really watch it and study it? Like watch every nuance. Like how does it feel? How does it move? Does it change in my body? Does it feel like it's just staying the same? Like when you really start observing it, that is where most people actually tap into what I'm talking about. Like being present with it instead of resisting it, suppressing it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Another thing that was very interesting, going through a very challenging part of my life, and there was a lot of fear associated with that and a lot of anxiety, and rightfully so. And there was nothing else to do but surrender. I mean, it would get so bad that I would feel like I was dying, like literally dying, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting. This shifted for me. I was forced to learn this skill at a very deep level, and since then have not struggled in that way. And it was really like can I fully allow and surrender this to this thing? And it feels like, no, it's going to consume me and I'll never get out of it. Right. And it's going to be too big for me. Right.
Yeah.
But as soon as I just let go and allowed the feelings to be there, I noticed they were like waves, like the ocean, just like waves of fear, waves of anxiety, or waves of grief. Another way to think of it is it's like unlayering, like up and out. That's how I view it now, is if I am holding space for myself and I'm observing and I'm present, what am I feeling now? And what am I feeling now? And what am I feeling now? It comes up and then it passes over like a wave. And then the next layer comes up and out. And then I start noticing, oh, now peace is coming out, or hope is coming out. Or like these positive things are coming out too, or these creative ideas are coming out too. Like when we suppress what's going on inside and we're resisting it and we're trying to run away and we're trying to fix it and we hate feeling this way and we need it to change right now. And we're grasping at things to make us feel better. We're actually halting our inner process. And that's actually halting us from being able to access our creativity, like our strengths, like all of that. And we must be in a whole brain state, not a state of survival, fight or flight. Can't handle this, so I got to run away or fix it or change it or whatever. We have to be in a whole brain state to be able to problem solve and to be able to see the big picture instead of tunnel vision. So starting to just be able to feel my feelings at any moment is like, that's another skill set. And that's how we learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, which if we can learn that, we can approach any situation in a regulated way. If we can be comfortable in the uncomfortable, then we won't trigger our own survival mechanisms. We're going to stay present in a whole brain state with all our faculties, seeing the big picture, tuning into our intuition, being able to think clearly. And that's what we want, is to be able to withstand those shakeups in life and have that capacity maintained.
Because this isn't about getting rid of the anxiety. Anxiety is going to be a part of your life till you're not alive anymore. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, anxiety and anger and frustration and different, I mean, all these emotions that people talk about feeling, it's not like we're not talking about eliminating them from your life, because it's impossible to do that. What I think of is I'm telling you, movies. It's all about movies, man. A Beautiful Mind. If anybody's seen A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, and he there was a couple characters in there, and one of them was Ed Harris, and he was this guy that would come and task Russell Crowe with all these missions, and he had like this secret thing, and he was working for this secret society and doing all this stuff. And in the beginning of the movie, he was like eyeballs deep in it, and he was constantly paying attention to that instruction from him. And then at the end of the movie, it was like they were still there. Like Ed Harris and the other characters were there, but they were like 100 yards behind him, walking around, and like every once in a while they'd be like, "Hey, remember us?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he kind of just carried on with life, and they were still there.
Yeah.
But they weren't ruling his everyday existence. And so that's what I kind of think of it, because some people get so caught up in, oh, well, I have to get rid of it. Well, no, don't drive yourself crazy with that, because you can't.
Right.
It's not possible. So
and that resistance and fighting it is what keeps you stuck with it. It's like if two people are resisting each other, they're pretty much stuck there. When one person allows it, right, the dynamics can change. So it's like we're not focusing on changing the emotion.
Right.
We're focusing on changing the context for the emotion. We're focusing on changing the relationship to the emotion, which is what you're describing. And what I love is when I had this curious thought.
All right.
Because my fear was like, well, if I really give into this anxiety or just like allow myself to feel it fully or whatever, I'll be stuck with it forever. And then this thought came of like, well, does the anxiety go forever? Or is there something on the other side of this anxiety?
Yeah.
Like, what's on the other side of it? Like, have we ever asked this question? So that was one of my curiosities one day as I was focusing on feeling this, was like, I wonder what's on the other side of it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to explore that. So I'm like feeling anxious. Wow, it's so strong. What's on the other side? What's on the other side? And then there was this immense, infinite peace on the other side of anxiety. And I was like, what? I'm like, God's on the other side of my anxiety, like, right? Like his love, his peace, his truth, his presence. It was undeniable. It was like one of those discoveries where you're like, I mean, you got to discover it for yourself for you to know what I'm talking about. But like, it was always there. So from then on, I'm like, so every time I'd feel my feelings and they'd be really hard and really intense, but I would surrender in that, the wave would go and there'd be that presence and that peace that to me is God, is the Lord. And so it was fascinating to me. I started asking people like, have you ever wondered what's on the other side of your anger? What's on the other side of your anxiety? And they would all say the same thing. I'd walk them through the same process. And then they're like, oh, it's like peace, like infinite love. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So the things we're resisting, we're not surrendering our wrestle with that thing. And when we really just allow it to be, that is an act of trust and faith and surrender. And inside of that, I believe God's presence and God's love and God's peace can come in and meet us there. But as long as we're fighting it ourselves, which is taking it on our own shoulders, how am I going to deal with this? And I don't like this. Instead of being open, like God works everything together for good.
Yeah.
If God works everything together for good, that even means this. Like this is for good somehow. May you reveal that to me, how this is good, right? Like, let me see it. Let me see the purpose in it. Let me grow through it. And so then the power is taken away from the emotions. We don't see that they hold power over us. We recognize the one who holds the power, but also the power that has been given to us. So when I can be with any emotion, when I can be with any human experience, it changes everything. Because in a fight or flight response where I can't be with this, it's ruling me. I have now made that my idol. I have now made that my God, to be honest.
Yep.
It's ruling me and I'm a victim of it. And so that's no way to be. And then I shut down my brain. I shut down my spiritual knowing, because we know all these scriptures. We can quote them all day long. That's not how we feel when we can't be with this anxiety,
Right.
Like I don't have access to any of that. So we start shutting down our faculties, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. We start shutting those down when I can be with it. And that's my goal, is to learn how to be with this and not resist it or fight it. That's when I get to actually keep all my faculties, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And I get to respond in life. I get to see the gifts. I get to see the tests. I get to see the way that I can move through this. I get my creativity. I can listen. I can hear the Holy Spirit. That's the state of having a capacity to move through life, regardless of what it throws at you, in a state of surrender and prayer.
100%. Yeah. Catherine and I were just talking about that last night. We were, working through some stuff with, just where we are in our businesses and kind of this time of year and all the things. And we were remembering back to, almost 15 years ago when we talked about Pauline before, right? Like if for those of you that have been watching the show for a while, Dr. Pauline Dillard has been on the show a couple times, more than once. And we were talking about her, and it's like, look, you need to, and we were kind of comparing what you're doing and the breakthrough you're talking about to kind of the one that you get to realize with her too, in a different way. And it's like, you need to And I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I remember like there was a single moment in that during that experience with her that I just remember throwing my head back and like crying like crazy, and just like the emotional release was amazing. And so it's that kind of thing. It's like you got to bring yourself back to that to realize that and live in that, and then you can, and then everything else kind of makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because you're not caught up in your mind of all the anxiety and all the things. And so, yeah, it's so simple, but it's not easy all the time. So.
Yes. And it's cool because it's like, it's the people that have told me their stories. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do it too. Right. I think it's just the sharing and the awareness that allows us to kind of, well, maybe I can be open to that experience in my own self.
Right.
And start exploring what happens for me. What do I do with my feelings?
Exactly. I know. It's crazy. I know. You learn stuff from all kinds of people. Well, let's go. Let's come when we come back from the break. We're going to finish this up, and it's going to be awesome. And so everybody stick around because there's more good coming. So we'll see you in just a minute.
Hey there. Every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are, and we're just blowing minds all over the world here. Just that's what we're here for. That's what that's what I can always count on when Michelle comes on the show, is making people uncomfortable and getting to the bottom of stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, everybody. By the way,
Yeah, you're welcome. Y'all should be used to it by now.
I promise it's for your benefit. I promise it's good on the other side. I swear. It's amazing. Take it from people that have been there, and I'm not perfect, of course, but man, so much better with this knowledge than without it. So
true.
Yeah.
That reminds me, it's like there's analogies to how a silversmith purifies silver, right? And so you boil it until it's completely dissolved and liquid, right?
Yep.
And that's very uncomfortable. I'm sure if we're the silver, then that's very uncomfortable.
Wow.
We've lost our entire identity and our entire shape and everything that we've known as familiar. Anyway, and then he stands there and he sifts out the impurities. The impurities have to boil to the top. And if the heat wasn't turned up enough, those wouldn't boil to the top. And so then he never leaves it. He tends to it. He scrapes off the impurities, and he does so until his reflection is seen clearly like glass in the silver. And so I like to think of, how God works with us through challenges in life and things that bring our impurities to the surface, like anxiety, right? That's like the snow in our snow globe, the stuff that shakes the snow globe. With that stuff got to shake up and come to our awareness so that we can do the inner soul work we need to heal and integrate with Christ. And so the cool thing is when we can do what I'm talking about and we maintain awareness of this process, then it's like, thank you for bringing up in me any anxiety, anything in me that is not surrendered to you. Thank you for showing me what in me is ruling me, right? Where I have given away my power. If it's money, I mean, that's the majority of the world is giving their power away to money, right? It's like, yeah, God, except for my finances. It's like, what is ruling me? What is able to stir up in me these such deep, strong feelings? That's the place where we have snow in our snow globe, or turmoil, or we're not surrendered, or, we need healing in. And so my goal is to be as conscious as I can, as aware as I can, as integrated as I can, as healthy as I can as a human being. And if that is my goal, then I welcome anything that stirs my snow globe. I welcome the uncomfortable, because it's just going to show in me what is really inside. And there's scriptures that's like, search my heart, O Lord. And there's other scriptures that's like, yeah, you're like whitewashed tombs. You're pretty on the outside. You're rotten on the inside. I want my inside to match my outside. And I want my feelings inside to match what I believe spiritually, scripturally, all of that. And so oftentimes, wherever there's anxiety, there's something else going on inside where I've given my power away. And that's a beautiful place to invite the Lord in, and to invite the truth in, and to invite healing in.
Yeah.
When we work through that, we don't have to repeat those same anxiety loops. When we actually work on it and the root of that anxiety deep within us, then that thing no longer has power over us, and we're able to have a different kind of relationship to that thing, whatever it may be. My money, my kids, trusting God with my kids, right? Trusting God with my finances, with my time, with my business, with my marriage, with whatever it is, right? With my extended family members, with my own health and my own body and my own, all of it, right?
Right.
Friendships. And so actually we can celebrate when we get triggered, especially with anxiety, because it's the invitation to do inner soul work. And that inner soul work is going to change the trajectory of our lives for the better for the rest of our lives. Any work we do internally, shadow work, soul work, whatever we want to call it, the gain from doing that work ripples into our lives in ways we can't even consciously comprehend. Because if I stop approaching my life from fear and anxiety in certain areas that shut off my brain's ability and my spirit's ability to perceive clearly, then all of a sudden I can see new opportunities, and I can have creative solutions, and I can have the courage to go talk to so-and-so who knows this other person. You know what I mean? Like, God can begin to direct our lives, and their synchronicity can happen in ways that open doors very rapidly, that we would never be able to perceive before. So it's crazy. We did a poll of our clients a few years ago, and we found that on average, our clients got a 30% raise in income just from doing work in our health program.
Wow.
in repairing their nervous system and like getting rid of their physical symptoms. And these are clients we usually, maybe a couple of them, we would ever talk about money. But it's just because how they were operating changed such that their bosses noticed, their coworkers noticed, they saw new opportunities, the entrepreneurs had more clarity and boldness. Like, everything that is going on inside of us affects how we perceive everything outside of us. And so now I can rejoice in my suffering. I can rejoice. How do you do that? I can rejoice because I know, oh, thank you. There was a spot of anxiety in here, and that has unknowingly been influencing so many things in my life. And now if I actually uproot that and get it out, there's going to be space for new things that are aligned with truth, that are aligned with what will bring me success mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So that's a whole paradigm shift in how we view things. And that goes back to, we're changing the context for our feelings. We're not focusing on changing the feelings. We're changing the context for the feelings. And when you change the context, guess what? You feel better. So, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like you can't move forward until you do that. It's like the person, the silversmith, can't produce anything valuable with that silver, with those impurities in there. If they were to produce a pendant or a ring or a bracelet or something out of that impure, with all those impurities in there, it wouldn't be worth nearly as much as if you skim all those off the top and then you've got something. Now you got something to work with that can actually bring value. So yeah, you got to start where you start, you know? Yeah, for sure. Well, we got about 2 minutes left. What do we want to finish up today?
I mean, I think it's just an invitation to explore what we're talking about. And nothing I say is going to make a difference. It's people listening. How does this apply to me? It's people listening. How can I sit and try to do what she's saying? And what are the roadblocks that show up in that process?
Yeah.
And it's not about doing it right. Yeah, I did it the first time I tried. It's actually about having an open invitation to yourself to go inward and to see what comes up when you try to do this. Is it frustration? Do you have expectations that it should look a certain way? You know, do you feel stuck with your feelings? Do you not know what you're feeling? Does your brain go blank? Like, all of that is good feedback of what's inside and the patterns you approach life with. So one, it's an invitation to try this on and not just listen conceptually. And two, it's an invitation, if something inspired you, triggered you, made you curious, feel free to scan the QR code. We can have a conversation. I do not work with everybody I talk to. I probably refer out 50% of the time, but I refer into the right direction of what you need specifically. If it's something that you're not ready for what we are doing or it's not the right fit, I will get you set in the right direction. But if it is a right fit, then we can figure out what it is you're needing and how to really address the root cause. So we are very much focused on working with individuals with chronic illnesses specifically. And that could be MS or cancer or fibromyalgia or, you know, bipolar, depression, insomnia, whatever it is, allergies.
Yeah.
And we've worked with clients at the Mayo Clinic already and gotten no answers, Stanford's top medical research team, and other very big name doctors. Those are the clients that typically come and work with us, are the ones that have already exhausted all those other options. And and we're working with them at a much higher level than anyone else. So if that is what you are in need of, feel free to reach out and we'll have a conversation.
Absolutely. In fact, I just referred somebody to you that is in like, cancer. And I think he said, I've said, he goes, I've been told I have 6 months to live more times than I can count, but I keep on going, you know, it's like, okay, cool. Hey, doctors are just practicing, right? That's the thing. They don't always know. So why not explore something different, you know? So that's why I gave him your number, because I was like, well, this is perfect. You'll get along just fine.
Love it.
With Michelle. So So all right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you for being here. If this is your first time watching, I hope you had fun. This is always a blast when we're talking about this stuff, and it's very different, and it's very, some people would say it's out there, but it's really not. When you get into it and you kind of learn a little more about it by scanning the QR code and meeting with Michelle, it's really not that out there. It's just, we've just not been told this stuff all the time. So I would invite you to explore that, and whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just throw a comment in there. If you want to get in touch or scan the QR code and get in touch with Michelle. The next time that we will see you, Michelle, will be in 2026. So our next show with Michelle is going to be January 6th. So we're already that close. And the next show in general will be, the next show on the show is Friday, December 19th. Yikes, we're getting close to Christmas. Okay. All right. So everybody have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.